Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Golden Blued is a college football YouTube channel for entertainment. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into our next college football video. Conference realignment, NIL, transfer portal, expansion on the college football playoffs. College football is changing before our eyes. So another big change might be on the horizon. What am I talking about? The bowl system overhaul might be on its way. The executive director of bowl season, Nick Caparelli, had a lot to say on this subject. Here's some of the stuff that he said about the bowl system overhaul that is coming. It is coming. We don't know if it's going to be next year or by the playoff expansion, but this is coming. He says, there's more drastic change going on in college athletics than I can ever remember and maybe ever in its history. It's time now to shift our focus to bowl season and determine what role we play in the college football calendar. Everything else in college athletics is evolving. Bowl season will evolve as well. I agree with that. Bowl season, it's time for bowl season to evolve. Some of the stuff he wants to address. Stiffening criteria to be eligible for a bowl. Talking about the 6-6 record to become eligible. And in some instances, some 5-7 teams get in because of some shortages of 6-6 teams. Another thing that will be addressed. More NIL revenue payments to all players that will participate in bowls. I really like that because that would encourage players to play in all these bowls. It would give them an incentive to not sit it out. Hey, if you play in this bowl, you will get paid. I do think there should be some type of criteria as far as how much of the game they have to be played, because let's face it, they could dress up, play for one series. Hey, I played in the bowl, you must pay me. So we need to figure out a way to avoid all that. Another thing that's going to be addressed, incorporating more bowls into the extended playoffs. 100% agree on that. A lot of people have done videos on the first round of the playoffs, the semifinals of the playoffs. All that should be bowls, and you would be eliminating some of these bowls that nobody really cares about. Another thing they'll be addressing, more flexibility in conference tie-ins for bowls. Get rid of them altogether. That's my point of view on that situation. And finally, more TV partners for all bowls. Right now, bowls are actually breaking records in viewership. In 2021, all bowls pulled in an average of 4.7 million views. That's all bowls put together with an average 4.7 million views. That's pretty good. Now, of course, we know that not all bowls got 4.7 million views, but if you're using the most viewed bowls and the least viewed bowls, put them all together and come out with the average, 4.7 million views, that's not too shabby. Caparelli also said, people need to take a deep breath. Just because some bowls don't have an impact on the national championship, it doesn't mean it's not meaningful to a lot of people. That's very true. Even the lowest rated bowl games have 2 million viewers, which outrates some of the best regular season college basketball games. I don't know why you're comparing bowls to regular season college basketball games. Not a very good comparison right there. And other alternative programming. Coaches want to play in them, and 90% of student athletes want to play in them. I don't know about 90%. I would say more like 80%. But okay, I get what you're saying. I will say this though, 13 bowls did in fact draw fewer than 2 million viewers in 2021. So that number was a little bit off, Caparelli, because the lowest bowl from last year had like just under 900,000 views. That's over 1 million views under that 2 million mark that you gave. So you might want to check your numbers on that one. He also says, it's not an either-or proposition. Together, the college football playoffs and bowls make up the college football postseason. Never thought of it that way, but yes, that's exactly what it is. In 2010, the bowl criteria changed to 6-6 to qualify, and you can only use one FCS win to count towards that eligibility. In 2012, the bowl criteria changed to 5-7 to possibly, not guaranteed, but possibly qualify for a bowl. But once again, that's not guaranteed. For the 2021-22 bowl season last year, 22 teams played in a bowl with a non-winning record, meaning 6-6 or worse. 3 of those teams had losing records, talking about those 3 5-7 teams. In 2022-23, 19 teams are playing in bowls with a non-winning record. 9 out of the last 10 years, there were more bowl spots than teams that had at least a 6-6 record, forcing some bowls to invite a 5-7 team. That's the problem. Too many bowls. So in some years, there weren't enough 6-6 teams to fill those bowls, so they had to invite a 5-7 team. Not good at all. And Caparelli says, that's the conversation. Getting rid of that. I agree with that. I know West Virginia went 6-6 last year. West Virginia fans were happy that we went to a bowl, got beat by Minnesota. But really, did we deserve to go to a bowl? No, I don't think so. 6-6 does not deserve to go to a bowl. Carparelli was alluding to the fact that it is being taken into consideration to raise the eligibility from a 6-6 record to a 7-5 record. I'm okay with that. I agree with that. 6-6 teams would be used in emergencies only to fill spots that weren't filled by a 7-5 team, just like the way 5-7 teams are used now. 100% okay with that. I would be fine with that. But that also means that some bowl games could be eliminated altogether, and I think the number would be around 10 bowls. Hey, I'm good with that. There are 10 bowls out there that really nobody cares about. And I get it, some fan bases do care about it because their team makes it to a bowl. But if your team went 6-6, I mean, really, how big of a deal is it that your team made a bowl and probably got beat in a bowl? Now listen to this part. In the future, the money being paid to the conferences for participation could be steered towards the players if those conference tie-ins are eliminated. Hey, I'm for that. Get rid of the conference tie-ins because it leads to a lot of bowl mismatches. One great example was the bowl game between Oregon State and Florida. Everybody knew that that was a mismatch, but because of the bowl tie-in, that's who had to play in that particular bowl. But if this happens, the bowls would just pay the players participating directly, not the conferences. 17 bowls are ran through ESPN, 24 are not. ESPN's current deal with the college football playoffs expires in 2026. Also, timing of bowls is being discussed as well, possibly starting the regular season earlier so that the bowl season starts earlier. More player participation because they'd be done in time to be home for the holidays. And on top of that, paying the players directly instead of paying the conferences for participation. I think if you combine those two elements, we would see a lot less players sitting out bowl games. This could also result in an extra bye week. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but teams that play in week 0 actually get 2 byes. So if you back up the college football season a week earlier, maybe the rest of the teams could get an extra bye. The only part of bowl season that wouldn't be affected by the regular season being moved back 1 week would be the college football playoffs and the national championship. They would still get played at the same time. I am all for this sweeping overhaul. I think a lot of good things are being discussed right now. I do think that bowl should pay players directly and not the conferences. You'd have a lot more players not sit out these bowls. It would definitely be more entertaining for the fans. I also like raising the eligibility from 6-6 to 7-5 and only using some 6-6 teams to fill in emergency spots if there's not enough 7-5 teams. Yes, I am okay with that 100%. And yes, I would be okay with eliminating those 10 bowls, whatever they are, because some bowls are meaningless whenever it comes to the grand scheme of things. So y'all let me know in the comments section, are you good with bowl season as is? Would you be okay with bowls paying players directly, resulting in less players opting out of bowls? What do you think about the regular season starting a week earlier? And do you agree that the standard should be raised from 6-6 to 7-5 to get bowl eligible, which means up to 10 bowls could be eliminated? Are you okay with that? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.